Hi there. So if somebody asks you what is Gauss law, you need to tell, or what is Gauss law, then Gauss law, or what does the Gauss law states? Then Gauss law states that the total flux of electric field, total flux of electric field through a closed surface, through a closed surface is equal to the quantity of charge inside. In last class we did discuss the importance of inside the closed surface divided by divided by epsilon naught. And last class we also discussed the concept of or importance of closed surface. So mathematically, what the Gauss law states that flux is equal to total, the total flux is E ds, E dot ds, right? Both are vectors, and we have to integrate throughout the closed surface. So this is the symbol of integration throughout the closed surface, is equal to quantity of charge which is only inside. I should not add the charges which are outside the closed surface, divided by epsilon naught. So let us do some applications, or how to use this Gauss law. The first application is, I think I told that Coulomb's law and Gauss law are one and the same thing. So let us derive this. Okay. So in from Coulomb's law, if you go back to chapter 2, if you remember E, the electric field because of a point charge which is Q at a distance r is given by k q by r square. So this we derived from the Coulomb's law. Force, the electric field is nothing but force per unit charge, and force per unit charge. So force of the force per unit charge can be derived by the Coulomb's law. Now you will use the Gauss theorem to derive this, to derive the same thing. But one important thing is, this closed surface is also called the Gaussian surface. So Gaussian surface can be of any shape. Okay. So this can be of this shape, this can be of this shape, pyramid, or it can be some arbitrary like this, or it can be a sphere, or it can be a cylinder. Okay. But the power and strength of Gauss law derives is obtained only, all are Gaussian surface, but the Gauss law is really powerful when we have a symmetry in our problem. Okay, so like a sphere or a cylindrical, we can make use of the factor of symmetry. Whenever we can try to take advantage of symmetry, then Gauss law will be very powerful. Okay. So here also, to find the electric field at at a point distance r, we can use the symmetric law. Okay. So now at this circle, so we know that electric field, this is also at a distance r, this is also at a distance r, this is also at a distance r, and this is also at a distance r. So this is a very symmetrical problem, that all the points which are at a distance r, or there are, is a sphere, and all will have the same electric field, or they should have the same electric field, because electric field for a given charge only depends on the distance, all other things being constant. So let us make use of this symmetrical factor of the Gauss theorem. Now, so from symmetry I will know that here also E is same, here also E is same, and here is also E is same, and here also E is same. Okay. So let us take use of this powerful symmetry here. So now what does Gauss law says? Now I have a closed surface which is a spherical surface. This is in a 3D sphere. If you can remember, all the points are at equidistant r. So here E is, if I use the Gauss law, E is same at every point. So E is a constant across all throughout this surface. So E I can take out of constant of integration. So E into integration of ds, surface integral of ds, is equal to q in. Q in, what is the charge inside this sphere? Only one charge is there, which is at the center, which is equal to q. So inside, q inside, there is only one charge, which is q, divided by epsilon naught. Okay. So E, surface integral E ds is equal to q in by epsilon naught. Now what is the surface integral? Means addition. So what is the addition of all the small surfaces areas of total additional area? So if I integrate, if I add all the small areas of this full sphere, I will get the total surface area of a sphere. If I add all the small surfaces, I will get the total surface area. So what is the total surface area of a sphere? The total surface area of the sphere will be equal to, so E integration of ds will be nothing but 4 pi r square. So E ds is equal to q in by epsilon naught, what I am doing, is equal to q by epsilon naught. So this only I have written E into 4 pi r square is equal to q by epsilon naught. So E will be equal to q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So I have got the same thing which I got using the Coulomb's law. So Coulomb's law also gives me kq by r square, where k is nothing but 4 pi by epsilon naught, which we discussed in the, so 4 pi by epsilon naught can be written as kq by r square. So we see that Coulomb's law and Gauss law gives us the same result, but Coulomb's law, Gauss law is much more powerful if we use symmetry. Now you might not agree with me now at this stage that Coulomb-Gauss law is more powerful if we use symmetry, because this was also pretty easy derivation when we used Coulomb's law, because the case was simple, only one point charge was there. So it is simple in Coulomb's law also, as well as it is a symmetrical situation in Gauss law, it is simple in Gauss law also. But now let us try to analyze a more complicated scenario. The more complicated scenario is, I have an infinite or very long, okay, I have a very long wire, okay, or a wire which have a uniform charge distribution of lambda per unit length, sorry, lambda. So lambda is the charge density per unit length. So charge density is lambda, or charge per unit length of this very long wire is lambda. No, and I want to find the electric field at this point, which is at a distance of say x meters from this wire. Now I can use Coulomb's law. If you go back if you go back to the chapter 3, in which we derived the electric field for some of the complicated objects, in a similar manner what we could do here is, we could take a small length here, find the electric field here at this direction, then take a component of this along this direction and this direction, then we do an integration of all the electric force because of all the small points from here to here, from minus infinity to plus infinity, and we will get the answer. There is no doubt we will not get the answer, we will get the answer. So how much, if you remember how much complicated it was to do the integration and sum it over, change the differentials, etc. But with the Gauss law there is a much more easier way to do that. If we if we use the symmetrical power of symmetry. How we can use the power of symmetry? Let me take a spherical or cylindrical shell here. Okay. So I have taken a cylindrical cylinder whose axis is this wire only. Now see, if this wire is very long, say for all practical reasons till infinity there, then this point is symmetrical to this point, 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 this point, this point. All points are symmetrical with respect to each other on this surface of the sphere or cylinder. Okay, on all the surface of the cylinder, all are at a distance of say r or x. Okay, and all points will have same electric field E. So all the points will have the same electric field E on all their surfaces. So it is a symmetrical problem now. Now let us use this surface of a cylinder as a Gaussian surface, because and including this. So this surface is a Gaussian surface, this is a closed surface. Okay, the cylinder is a closed surface, and I know from symmetry there will be no flux, no electric field in this direction, because electric field will always be away from the positive charge. So there will be no electric field at this point, so there will be no flux from the top surface and the bottom surface anyway. So I will neglect those top and bottom surface. I will consider the curved cylinder surface only. So what does the Gauss law says? E ds is equal to q inside by epsilon naught. Now from the power of symmetry, this E will come out. Okay, from the power of symmetry, because this full surface is symmetrical, E will come out, integration of ds is equal to q in. So what is the q? So suppose this is length L. Length of the cylinder which I have considered is L. Okay, will be equal to q in by epsilon naught. Let me write down. Okay, now what is the surface area of the curved surface of a cylinder? From basic class 8 math or lower classes mathematics, we know that E, the total surface area, integration of ds of a curved cylinder is 2 pi r L. Okay, so this can be written as 2 pi r L. That should be equal to q inside. What is the total charge inside this cylinder? It is the length or the charge density, the charge per unit length multiplied by the total length. So the total charge inside the cylinder is the charge per unit length multiplied by total length, so which is equal to lambda into L, which is q in, divided by epsilon naught. So now notice that L anyways cancel out. Okay, so the electric field at a distance x or any distance is, or I should have taken instead of 2 pi x, now r is equal to, r of this cylinder is equal to x. So E is equal to lambda by 2 pi x into epsilon naught, or 2 epsilon naught pi x. So you see that it is, the electric field is inversely proportional to x, the distance on that infinite wire. And you see, instead of this integration and all those definite integral, conversion, variable conversion, with this symmetry, the answer was reduced in 2 lines. Within 2 lines, I was able to find the answer. And this is the power of Gauss law over Coulomb's law. Now this I have taken a line. Let us take a more difficult problem, two-dimensional problem of a, say I have a sheet. Okay, now I don't have a line, but I have an infinite or very big, very big sheet of paper or any material, non-conducting material in this case. Okay, and this uniform charge, it is distributed over this, and the surface charge density or the charge per unit, now we have an area, the charge per unit area, charge per unit area is equal to, or the surface charge density for this is sigma. I want to find what is the electric field here. Now with Coulomb's law or E, Coulomb's law, I have to find what is the electric field because of this small charge, because of this small charge, this small charge, then I have to integrate along this length, I have to integrate along this height, so this is a very complicated issue. But again, if I use the power of symmetry with the Gauss law, okay, now again I will use a spherical symmetry. Okay, let me draw a sphere across this. Okay, suppose it is at a distance x, although later on we will find that it does not depend on x, but for generality case let us keep a distance x and this radius is r. So it cuts this, the surface which I have made cuts this sheet at another circular region. Okay, so I have made a, now I will again use a symmetry. See the beauty of the symmetry of the plane, the Gaussian plane. I need to choose a Gaussian plane properly. I have to imagine a Gaussian plane, and that will make my problem easier. Okay, so the way I have chosen my Gaussian surface, this is what is helping me to use symmetry at its most potent form and simplify my system. Now I know if I have an infinite sheet of paper in both, this is the x direction, this is the y direction, y axis, this can be the z axis. Okay, so if I consider this point is also symmetrical with respect to the sheet, because up also there is a lot infinite sheet, this side also there is infinite sheet. So all the points here are symmetrical with respect to this sheet of paper. Similarly, all the point here is also symmetrical with respect to this sheet. Okay, both are at a distance x from the sheet. Okay, and so in all these E will be the same and it will be directing away because it is positive charge. Here the E direction will be like this, here the E direction will be like this, and on the curved surface here, okay, all the E directions, E will be like this, no E will cut this surface. Okay, so I can neglect the top surface, there will be no electric field which will be coming out of the top surface. So in this Gaussian surface, the curved surface can be neglected because no electric field will come out. The only possible way that electric field will come out from this surface is by the way which I have shown here. Now the Gauss law will say that, the Gauss law says that integration of E ds is equal to q in by epsilon naught. So consider this cylinder as the Gaussian surface. Now here the all our electric field is all same, here it's same, here it's same. So E is same from symmetry, so again E will come out. So E integration ds should be equal to q in by epsilon naught. Okay, again what is the ds integration? Integration of ds is nothing but this area plus this area. The total area of this sphere of the cylinder where the electric field is coming out as a flux is this area plus this area. So, it is equal to E into, so E is already there, 2 into, so 2 surfaces are there and area of each circle is pi r square is equal to, what is the total charge inside this surface? The total charge inside this surface is what is the charge here where it cuts here. So, which is equal to the surface charge density multiplied by the area. So, surface charge density is sigma charge per unit area into total area, which is equal to pi r square divided by epsilon naught. So, this pi r square and this pi r square get cancelled, and again in one line for a very complicated scenario we get E is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So, this is a very simple case or very simple solution, not a simple case at all, it is a very complex case, but using symmetry and the power of Gauss law we have managed to solve again this complicated of two-dimensional infinite place in just a two-line solution. One modification is here this plate is a non-conducting plate. Now, what happens? So, this formula is valid only if it is a non-conducting plate, non-conductor. What happens if this sheet is a conductor? Okay. So, let us find out. Okay, if this plate is a conductor, so everything has a finite thickness. Okay, everything has a finite thickness. So, if I have a conductor here, okay, and on this surface the charge distribution is sigma. Okay, inside the conductor we know that, we will discuss again in more detail in a concept class which I will have a separate video for some of the concepts, but one of the concepts is inside a metal there can be no electric field. Okay, and it is easy to guess also why inside a surface there, inside a metal there can be no electric field, because in metal electrons can flow very easily. Okay, there is no resistance to flow of electron in a metal. So, if I have two electron here and here, okay, and so they will repel each other and there is nothing stopping the electrons from not moving inside the metal. So, both will come to the surface, both the electron will come to the surface. Okay, so, all the surface charges will be on the surface and in effect there will be no electric field inside. Okay. So, inside whenever if the electrons repel each other, charge particles repel each other, there is nothing to stop those electrons, they will redistribute among themselves, so that all the charges are at the surface only and no charge is inside, no electric field or no charge is inside this. So, there is no electric field inside. So, earlier the way the Gaussian surface was modeled was like this, where both the surfaces were getting out, because here in this sheet, because it is a non-conducting sheet, the charge will be distributed uniformly inside the sheet. There is no concept that inside the conducting sheet there is no charge, there is no concept like that. But here if it is a metal case, then I know that charges are only at the surface, there is no charge inside this metal. So, in this case I can make a Gaussian surface like this, one of which is passing inside the metal, and so I know that like here because it is a non-conducting, so there is no place where there is no electric field. In every place the electric field is coming out, here also, and it is symmetrical. But here inside this metal there is no this electric field, because inside the metal there is no electric field. So, flux through this surface is anyway 0 and only through this surface there is an electric field. So, here if I apply this E into integration of ds, So instead of 2 pi r square, because here electric field was going through two surfaces, here only one surface, inside here is no electric field, so it will be just pi r square. So here this factor of 2 pi r square is not there, because in one of the faces of the cylinder, which is inside the metal, there is no electric field. So I cannot, so here it is 0, only flux is here. So E into, instead of 2 pi r square, it is pi r square, and the rest will be same. Surface charge density will again, it is sigma. So sigma into pi r square by epsilon naught. This pi r square get cancelled, sorry, this is epsilon naught. So E is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. So there is no 2 factor here. So electric field, in case if the surface charge of density is sigma, then it is twice sigma by, here it was sigma by half epsilon naught or sigma by 2 epsilon naught, here it was, for a conducting plate it is sigma by epsilon naught. So please be aware of this difference, that if such sheet is non-conducting, then the electric field due to an infinite non-conducting sheet is sigma by 2 epsilon naught, but, or a big conducting plate is sigma by 2 epsilon naught, but if it is a conducting, then their 2 factor is not there, it is sigma by epsilon naught. Please keep in mind a small difference, and see you in the next video.